Okay, so here we are. This isn't quite what I expected from this video, but I've had a go at building this kit. This is the Spitfire Mark 14. It's just been released from Airfix. As you can see, I've got some way through it. We're pretty much sorted on the construction point of view. Probably leave this one as a build review, mainly because this particular aircraft variant, even Spitfire really, but certainly the variant, doesn't really hold much interest for me, so I was hoping for quite a good kit. Unfortunately, I found this to be a very poor kit, considering it's brand new, and you know, going up against the likes of sort of Edward in the 148th range. I mean, we're some way off that with this. Not for any particular reason, it's just shoddy things throughout the process has sort of resulted in a kit that you almost don't really want to be looking at the end. So if you really want a Spitfire Mark 14, look at the other guys' videos, Alex Models and Skeleton. At the time of filming this, there may well be others. I know everyone's sort of doing a group build. They've done brilliant results for theirs, finished them all the way up, and that's fair enough. But for me, I'm finding this a bit of a struggle, more to sort of keep myself interested into it. Now, I could go ahead and fill these wing joins and a few of the ill-fitting parts and spray it up and get on with it, and that would be fine. I think I'd rather not, considering I've got a number of projects to be cracking on with, and all of those, there we go, that was always going to happen, wasn't it? All of those, in my personal view, sort of are more rewarding. So where I do a lot of the short run kits, they're a lot more difficult than this, and with a lot larger problems, but at the end of it you have something interesting. And for me, this isn't interesting. It doesn't feel like it's worth the effort, so that's why I'm going to be calling a day on this. So I would feel bad to you guys, but there's so many people out there that got given one of these, and there's already 2 build videos out there. I think you're doing pretty well, so I'm not going to worry too much. And I'm going to take the stats there. So let's have a look around at what I've actually found to be the issues. First off, let's start with the good points. The propeller here, the whole build-up is very good. It's nice to have the blades separate, and you could easily paint the blades, paint these 2 housings here, well, the nose cone, the back plate as well, and then get them together at the end, and that would be very, very well done. And it's nice crisp moulding, not too much in the way of seam lines or anything, so very impressed with that. Propeller was quite good, much like their Sea Fury, that was extremely good as well. Clear parts, crystal clear, 2 options for opening and closing, so you can't really ask much more on that. That's pretty good. I have happened to lose a small part that's meant to go on the inside of the canopy there, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'm sure it'll show up. Generally, the level of surface detail is good, although the panel lines are a little bit heavy, but not anywhere nearly as bad as they have been in the past with some kits, so we're pretty good there. The problems come from, I've said before really, Airfix trying to be a little bit too clever. They've kept this separate so that for different variants presumably, and the fit is not good. They're not really good enough to do that, that's the problem. If Tamiya were doing this, or Edward, or anyone really, it would fit a lot better. I've had to bend that out so that it clips in, and then sand it flush, which is, we're talking about, you know, the old basic modelling skills sort of stuff. That's fair enough, but still, I mean, on one side we've got that great big gap there, which you really shouldn't be having, and then on this side you haven't, and it's all a bit wonky, if I'm honest, all the way through. These exhaust shrouds here, I mean, you can see how that fits with the gaps running along the bottom, and that was the exhaust actually went in nicely there, where I've actually got rid of the join on this side. The exhaust barely fits in, it's all a bit tight, it's all a bit mishmashed. There's a lot of flash, as you can see. I've left those exhausts there, which are very poor. I mean, they're a poor excuse for an exhaust. It really doesn't look anything. It's just blobs with flanged ends. I mean, they could have done a bit better there, personally. That leads on to the other thing. This sprue here, which is the D sprue, I think. Yeah, frame D. This is it's like it's come from a different kit. It's really strange. The rest of all the other sprues are very nice, crisp. You know, you do have the seam lines that you come to expect with Airfix, but this is really strange. It's all there's a lot of flash across it, quite a lot of heavy seam lines, mismatched joins where it's a little bit of a movement in the mould, especially around the wheels. You can see that it's sort of mismatched. And there's this strange grainy texture on everything, and it's worse the more pronounced they are. So where these bits are sticking proud of the sprue here, it's even worse up there. So I don't know what's going on here. I mean, it's very noticeable here. Let's see if we can get in on the back of these. Bear in mind this is the blind side, so you'd actually glue that, but here this is very noticeable. So that's not helped. That's made the detail a little bit worse, and that's where these exhausts have come off, so that's not helped them either. So, I mean, you know, strange. The gun barrels, I mean, they've gone on alright, but they were almost laughable when I took them off. They kind of went in any direction you wanted. Took quite a long time to line them up, and they're very grainy, and again, they don't look right at all to me. Sort of sweep down, and it's kind of just about a gun barrel on the end there. All a bit vague, not really in keeping with the rest of the model. The interior cockpit section, very good, very, very good, very well detailed, lots going on in there, everything sort of represented. You've got the armoured plate behind the seat, which sometimes gets missed. You've got a lot going on in the back here. You've got the camera in there as well that hits on. You've got all the bulkheads, a nice open cockpit floor. It's going to struggle to see in there, but it's all open. So that's very good. And then under here it's a funny old place, it really is. Where this air scoop fits, it's more luck than sort of judgment, really. It's it kind of goes in there, but you really would need to fill on both sides. Slipper tank does hide a lot of problems, so I would probably add that on. It kind of sorts you out as far as these scoops are concerned, which or radiators, which don't fit at all. They don't look like they're meant for this kit. They should go quite a lot further over this way, it seems, and there's a hell of a lot of play in there when you put them in, but just kind of hope for the best and tried to line them up at the front, because I'm assuming that would have been square for the air intake going this way. But yeah, a bit odd. I don't really know what was going on there. The wingtips, actually, they looked a bit iffy. But actually, once they've gone on, they're okay. They need sanding flush. There's a bit of a lip this side, and there's a bit of a lip on the top. But if you were to sand that down, I think you'd be left with a sort of natural seam line, panel line, and you wouldn't really have to worry too much, I don't think, there. So it's pretty good. You can't really argue. It's a hard thing to sort of get right, having to cut the wingtips off and keeping it all together. So I think they've done a reasonably good job there, actually. The wing roots, I mean, surely that's unforgivable, isn't it, for a brand new kit? I mean, I've seen it on Skeleton as well. He had the same issue. So to get that to join up, your wing's gonna be way out. So I think you have to sort of, this is the lesser of two evils. Get it like this and fill it. And I mean, you know, I just don't really know what to say about that. It speaks for itself, I think. Again, because of this part being separate, you've got this sort of unnatural seam line running along there. If you're really wanting to get things sort of into the super detail level, I mean, it's going to be a hell of a job to get rid of that, I think. However, the windscreen has gone on very nicely, and again, like I said, the glasswork is good, and it joins in. This is a closed canopy option, and it's quite an unusual shape, so they've done well to get that. It's got a kind of weird bulge just as it goes in and joins, so it's quite good there. I haven't sanded any of the sort of sprue nibs there, so it's actually sitting very well for that. So I don't think that's too much of a problem. The rudder and tail plane entire assembly is pretty good. We've got a few gaps here. I can't remember if there's meant to be a gap there, so I'm not going to be too over the top there. But I think, again, if you were to scale that up, that would be quite a gap. So you could probably get your hand in sideways on the real plane if you were to scale that up. So that's probably a little bit of a gap there. But I mean, what can you say? clever sort of way it joins in here. You've got a recess, so as long as you push it down, it makes it quite square, and you don't get too many problems with it lifting. So it's pretty simple from that point of view. So I think all in all that's pretty good. And again, the pilot figure, I think, I mentioned in the review, is one of the best I've seen in 148, so that's all good as well. Mixed bag, as you can see. I mean, if you want this model, if you want a Mark 14, this is pretty much the best kit out there, and it's not going to be beyond the realms of possibility to fill these seams. Just go into it knowing that, I suppose, and then you'll be like I do with some of the short run kits. If you know it's going to be a lot of work, but what you get at the end you're happy with, well, it's no problem then. But I would imagine a lot of people will be getting this thinking, as I was, that it would be a nice quick build, bit of a mojo booster. Well, it's been almost the opposite for me, but we're not quite that drastic. So, onto the undercarriage. Now this, I don't know what's going on here, and I haven't glued this together. I'm going to see if anyone in the club wants to have a go at this kit and finish it off, because it seems a shame to waste it. But yeah, you're meant to sort of slip it in there. You see the problems I'm having. It's meant to kind of go in and join like that, which, okay, it may work, but I mean, you can go anywhere between there, and I mean, you can see you could go all over the place here. There's no real sort of strong, definite fixing point. I suppose there you're sort of pushing against this part here, so maybe that's where it's meant to be. I don't know. I mean, it's bit odd, to be honest. It kind of rests wherever it wants to, so that might need some working out, because that makes and just checking against references, because that makes the undercarriage quite straight. I always thought there was a bit of a kick in the undercarriage on Spitfires, but I don't know, there's quite a lot of differences on this model. Like I say, I haven't spent too much time trying to work out too much of this. Yeah, even if that is the case, this is still poor. I'm going to say that now, because this isn't good. It's not a definite kind of way of getting in there. There's no locating pin. It kind of goes into a block which is inside the wing, and again, it can kind of go anywhere it wants. So I think I'm making my point there. As you can see, it could be straight or it could be like that. So you want to check where it's meant to be. There is actually no guide in the instructions. They usually do always give you a guide showing you the sort of degree between there, the angle of degree there. But they don't in this one, and this is where it would actually be helpful, whereas usually you kind of realise. So what can you say about that? I don't know, make up your own mind there. Let me know in the comments below what you think. There we go. What can I say? You know, thanks to Airfix for sending me the kit. Bit of a shame. I think they've, I don't know, I don't think they've done themselves well in this kit, but either way, if you want one of these in your collection, it's not going to be too hard to build, but it is not going to be straightforward either. A few little niggles along the way. But I think overall, the decals are very nice, the marking options are good. We're going to get more variants of this kit, I think, so looking at the way the parts breakdown has been handled. Let me know what you think in the comments of the kit, and if you've bought the kit and had a go yourself, let me know. Also check out Skeleton, which is, I think most people know who Skeleton is, but if you don't, YouTube channel, or Skeleton. Alex Models. You've got Skellhanger as well, who started the fruit build as far as I can see. So there is a lot of it going on, so just search for the Spitfire Mark 14 and I'm sure it'll come up. So hopefully that's been of some use to you. If you like what you see, please let me know in the comments what you thought of the video, what you thought of the kit, if the build review was useful to you. As I said in the review that I did, this kit was sent to me by Airfix, so I think this is a more rounded review now I've actually built it, giving you more information and my findings on building it. I'm sorry I can't finish it. You never know, someone else might finish it, might get some pictures, and I'll put them on the channel one day. So until the next video, stay tuned. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, and I'll see you in the next video.